Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Micheal Pope.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. It is my honor always to be here with you every Friday as your host, as your guide through this sacred journey that we call life and that we do together when we really connect and we live out our humanity. It's so good to be with all of you this morning. Thank you so much. Hit the share button and let other people know. I want to just do a big shout out to Felicia. She's back and she's been traveling and she's safely back with her family in Moldova. And so good evening to you, Felicia, and my wonderful Moldovan family. Give them a hug for me and love them up. Let your mom know how much I love her video. Felicia sent me a video of her mom out with the chickens, and she's like me. We love hard. And so even when we're talking to a pet or something like that, we definitely are loving. And she talks to the chickens like they're children. And I talk to my dogs like they're children. They've replaced Jade and Milton in my home. They've never replaced Jade and Milton, but you know what I mean? Like I talk to them like they're Jade and Milton. So good morning and welcome to Life is a Sacred Journey. You have joined a platform, a neighborhood, a community worldwide where we come together. We bring hosts in that have written books about caregiving, about life, about self-care, about self-help. And then every once in a while you get Micheal Pope and her Ponderings, which are when we don't have a guest, every other week, and I look into the news and find things to share, as well as try to share a little bit of myself, honestly and authentically with all of you. So welcome if you're here for the first time, and if you've come to Life is a Sacred Journey, you're here every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We just received a certificate yesterday that we have 2,500. I don't even know what it all means, but there's 2,500 people that view us on an ongoing basis. So thank you to all of you for sharing. We had a certificate for 1,500 not too long ago. So in a very short period of time, you're sharing and you're talking about Life is a Sacred Journey. You've increased our viewers by 1,000. So that is amazing. So thank you so much. Continue to share, continue to get the word out about Life is a Sacred Journey, and we'll continue to show up. I almost didn't show up this morning. I called, didn't call, but I messaged Felicia on Tuesday. I have felt like every day is Friday this week. I mean, I started Monday just exhausted and it hasn't gotten any better, but I always feel so good when I come and hang out with you guys. So you invigorate me. You are my muse. And I just thank you so much with gratitude and just all my heart. Stuart and Sandy and Teresa and Carolyn, Felicia, Carol, I'm going to forget somebody, but all of you, because I don't have 1,000 names in my head to remember, or 2,000, but you know who you are. Lynn, Joanne, all of you who have made Life is a Sacred Journey a platform that is getting out there and helping people. I did get an email, I guess was it Monday? I think it was Monday. I got an email from somebody just saying, thank you so much for what you do. And the person is watching from Africa. So for all of you African brothers, sisters, siblings, family members, thank you so much. And if there's anything that I can say or do that will bring joy and peace into your life every Friday morning at 8 a.m., then it is my honor to do so. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful. So I want to talk a little bit about, there's going to be a couple of topics. One, I want to start with this Delta variant and the resurgence of this COVID problem that we have and the resurgence of it. Last night on my way home, I was listening to NPR, and they had two physicians assigned, one that's on the science side, one that's on the care side, that was speaking about this Delta variant and why it's so dangerous and why variants are so dangerous. And I began to understand a little bit more deeply and consciously that why we don't want more variants. And I pulled some stuff up. It's like, it said that the original COVID-19 strain was one person, me. And when I exposed it to other people, by the time I exposed it to two people, I was probably not able to expose too many more, because by that time I'm sick, they're sick, and we knew about it. But the Delta variants, they're saying, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 times, if somebody has the Delta variant, 5 times more people that they will infect, because the variant moves so quickly. So that made me start to do some math in my head. Those of you who know me, is I'm not really good with math in the sense of math, but I am good with statistics. I can read them and start to analyze them and go, wait a minute, this doesn't make much sense if this is happening. So that means we were in shelter in place. We had the whole country, the whole world was in lockdown, basically. Very negative term, I apologize, but we were all in shelter in place with a COVID-19 strain that had 2 times the capacity of infecting someone. And now we're in a Delta variant state of this virus strain. And we have 5 times the possibility of passing it if we haven't been vaccinated. I don't know. And I do know there's some people who still don't want to get vaccinated. They don't. But then I say, okay, cool. Let's take the vaccination thing off the table. Okay, let's just act like that's not it. We already know when the COVID-19 strain was happening in the beginning, the minute we started all wearing masks and stopped moving around, keeping social bubbles, doing things outside, even before the vaccine, we began to see little dips. So here's my summary on that. If in fact you do not want to get the vaccine, peace out. We ain't going to fight you. That's your personal choice. But the mask wearing thing, is there a possibility that we might be able to convince you to wear a mask every time you're in public? Not in your home, not with your friends and loved ones, because if they feel the way you do and all of that, groovy, nobody, no judgment. But 2 times to 5 times the transmission possibility means wear a mask and still wash your hands, still use hand sanitizer in between, still maintain 6-foot distancing, which I know I haven't been doing. Shame on me. Shame on me. We need to do that. And I think that if we try to just do that, and I pray, and I apologize, I'm coughing so much, the smoke is really bothering me. But I hope and pray that we will see the Delta variant cease a little bit. But we've got to do something. And for those of us that, are working on the front lines with individuals in their homes or in our clinics or in our hospitals, we're tired, you guys. I'm exhausted, and I don't mean physically. I realized it the other day. I'm not physically exhausted. I actually feel pretty good. Probably pretty good than I felt in the last whatever. But I do think we have an obligation to support each other in that way. And to try to make sure that we can get better and get rid of this thing, because people are making plans for 2022 And I'm here to tell you, it's already 2022 in my mind. And I think we're going to be doing this for a minute until we come together as a humanity. So ponder that with me, have those kinds of discussions. Let's not beat people up, because I get it. I'm getting ready to try to figure out a way. They said to get the third dosage. I didn't have the Pfizer vaccine in the beginning. I had the Moderna. So I will have to, because I'm not crossing. I'm not like going to, the one thing that I have some limitations on, I'm not going to all of a sudden take a different vaccine, right? Okay, I'm just not doing that. So I've already had the Moderna and 2 of those. And because I work in a healthcare environment where I'm exposed to people with all kinds of diagnoses and modalities, the third one, I'm actually thinking about getting once the Moderna, and it's actually about to be approved, just like the Pfizer. So I'll wait for it to be approved. Until then, I'll wear a mask, maintain 6-foot distancing as much as possible. And I'm actually staying out of crowds. I haven't gone to church since the day I went to church twice. I was the worship leader, so I went that Sunday, and then I went another Sunday because my sister Lynn and a group of other Joyce and other sisters came to visit our church. And so now I'm back to worshiping online because I just can't take that chance. I have a job where I'm exposed to very frail, very vulnerable population, and I have to make sure. And we're tested every other week here. So we do our own testing and we send it out and it comes back, and I've been testing negative. But I have to tell you, because of all the coughing that I'm doing lately with the smoke and everything, I go in and out of this mental thing of like, is it COVID? Could I have COVID? Did I expose? So this COVID thing is a mental, it's like being in warfare all the time, trying to figure out, did I wash my hands? Did I not wash my hands? Did I touch somebody? Did I have on my gloves? Getting gloves. Oh my gosh, we go through about 1,000 gloves a month. And we had to really go to like 4 or 5 different places. And then finally we found Amazon had some. So we ordered them and we're able to get them in, and we're going to order another set now so that we have them. We have masks, and we thank all of you out there who have donated masks and gloves and hand sanitizer to us and continue to do so, because we do need your support in that area. But folks, everything that I'm reading here, that everything, the vaccine, the mask, all of it, it means getting yourself in a space where you can feel safe, one, and then allow others to feel safe. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, I wanted to do Vacation Bible School this summer, but I didn't do it because the little people weren't vaccinated. I wasn't vaccinated. We were in the middle of all this stuff. Sometimes we have to say no to stuff and be okay with canceling stuff. I think my son and daughter-in-law taught me that with their wedding, because of the fires. That on the day of their wedding, the fires were happening up in the area, and we got evacuated. They didn't say, oh, we didn't get married, or, oh, we don't love each other. We laugh about it to this day and say, we still need to have a party where I never got to dance with him. I never got to dance with her. And so we need to do that. But at the end of the day, we're alive. Nobody got hurt. They were smart. They insured it. You move on. You don't keep saying, oh, we didn't do this and we didn't do that. We are a family together, and that's way more important. I'm still here to enjoy them, which I'm so thankful I'm still alive to enjoy the grown-upness of the people around me. So let's stop always thinking about the worst case scenario of things. Things happen in life. If you live long enough, you know that. You actually know that when you're a child, that the minute you fall down and hurt yourself, you realize that there's pain in life. That's when it happens. When you fall off of your bicycle, when you fall and you bump your head because you're weeble wobbling, that's when you know there's some sort of pain. Or when you go to the doctor and you get your first shot as an infant, you don't know what just attacked you from out of the ether, and you now have felt pain. So at the end of the day, let's understand that pain is a part of life, whether it's physical pain, emotional pain, and we have to work together to help each other get through these moments and help each other to understand that we are not alone when we're going through these moments, but to negate the power of pain, whether it's mental, physical, or anything else. I think that we need to understand that right now, we're all going through it. I realized yesterday I was in a meeting at, was it 5 o'clock? Yes, it started at 5. And I wake up at 5 a.m., you guys. So now I've already been engaged from 5 a.m. in the morning, and now it's 5 p.m. And I'm in a meeting where I thought the work that I had been tasked to do was done. And then all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, there's like another task that somebody's giving me. And I have no clue what they're talking about. It's 5 o'clock, right? And I'm preparing for something else that's getting ready to happen. And I'm thinking about the something else. And then I'm thinking about what this person just asked me. And I'm just like, okay. So, and then they're saying, oh, it won't take you too long to get it done. And I'm like, yeah, it will. Because one, I don't have a clue what you're talking about at this moment. I wasn't taking it in properly. And second of all, I have a pile of paper right here behind me, you guys, that it's shameful. I moved it down to the floor because it was up here on this table behind me here. I didn't want you to see it. It's shameful. I have to work through that and get that done before Monday. And then on Monday evening, I also have a support group that I forgot to cancel knowing that it was a holiday. Oh my goodness. So I'm thinking to myself, I love you, dear person, but even you asking me to add another sentence or paragraph to my life over the weekend, just because you think it's a holiday weekend, which it's not for me, I was a little perturbed by the time it was over. So I have no clue what I'm supposed to write, because I really was dead tired by that time that meeting happened. And it was just like, and it sounded like the grown-ups in the Charlie Brown thingy. That's what that meeting sounded like to me. And that's how cognitively it went in. I tried to participate so that I could wake my brain up, but it didn't work. It did not work. So the moral to the story is a 5 o'clock meeting on a Thursday evening where every day felt like Monday. I would have done better to cancel that meeting, meaning my presence in that meeting. But out of obligation, I showed up, but I didn't show up. I was physically there, but I wasn't there because, as I just told you, I have no clue what this sentence is that I'm supposed to write. So I will be reaching out to people among this committee in love. And again, I'm not mad at the person that asked me to write the sentence or the paragraph, not at all. Upset about it, never. But I just know that I was given a task that I am totally not able to complete at this moment. So pray for me and send out some good thoughts, because I'm learning to say no. Thank you very much, Sandy Blazer. No is not a bad word. It's not a curse word. A no is a word of self-care. So I did some homework. So this is something I want to share with you. So thank you all. Thank you so much for joining Life is a Sacred Journey. Hit the share button. I am Micheal Pope, your host. And now I want to take you back to a conversation. Some of you who have been with us every week will remember this. Jason Matthews, by the way, has just won an award here in the Bay Area for being the 18th most credible customer service businesses in the Bay Area, Black owned, So congratulations to Jason for his great work in the community and helping people to become financially literate and helping people to retire and take care of their investments. So San Francisco Business Time has recognized you, and we recognize you as coming back as a guest here to help enlighten us about our Social Security and all the things that we do. But we're just very happy. So I need to find, can I find, yippee. I'll do it later, but I'll find applause for him because I really want to say thank you to him for everything that he has done for us as a community here at, here we go. That's for you, Jason. Good job. And we're very honored that you come on Life is a Sacred Journey to teach us about finances. I found my button. I'm into that button, you guys. There's more sound effects, so look forward to the fall season and sound effects. Oh my gosh, I tickle myself. Don't you think I'm nuts sometimes? But isn't it wonderful to know who you are and to tickle yourself? When you tickle yourself, what's that moment that you're tickling yourself about? Write it in the chat. Share with each other your tickle yourself moment, because I do that a lot. But based on that conversation where we were talking with Jason about retirement, I've been thinking a lot. So I've been pondering a lot about my retirement. Not in a space of neglect or sorrow for anything that I have done. I chose to become a nonprofit leader. I chose to become a single parent. I chose certain things that put my financial situation not at jeopardy, but in a situation where I could not save as much as maybe some other people who are at the same age that I am in, that I'm living in. But I don't look at that from the perspective of I have nothing, because I do have something. You know, I have a 403B that I have invested in myself, sometimes more than other times. Social Security is, of course, something that I'm looking at, whether it's whether I, in 2 years, pull down off of it and continue to work, because I will have the ability to continue to work at the salary, hopefully that nobody fires me, at the salary that I'm at or a little bit more, and then collect Social Security, marry them together and do some consulting work and still have a lifestyle that makes sense to me. Or I can continue working until I can't walk anymore because of my sciatic. I can't sit a lot anymore. And so it's really something that I have to think about as far as longevity and working, if it requires me to sit in front of a computer. So, you know, if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to have to go standing. And I actually am thinking about that now. So all of those things. So, but then I started thinking about, what if I became an expat? What if I took my time, my talent, and my skill, all virtual, grant writing, consulting, whatever it may be, take it all virtual, and then become an expat? What would that mean? And I started doing some research of where are the places that people from Canada as well as the United States are going in their retirement years to stretch out their dollars so that they can live a lifestyle, one that they were living all along, or sometimes even better for some of the, and I actually got in contact with an expat that has moved to Mexico, and going to be trying to get her to come on Life is a Sacred Journey so she can explain her journey to us, for those of us that may be thinking that way. But what I found was, I think I found 5 different cities, places. But I'll start. Yeah. So I found that Panama City, and I've been there, and I went to Panama City to go to Cuba because I flew through there, and I had a layover, a long layover actually, in Panama City. And so I was able to get out of the airport and go do some things. This is before COVID and all of that. And I was really impressed with Panama City. I had a really good time there for the 4 or whatever hour layover that I had. So I looked up And Panama City came up as one of the top 5 cities for expats, particularly people from the United States and Canada. They have an amazing healthcare system from, healthcare as far as and this was all comparable to the United States. So it's an amazing healthcare system. Panama City is close enough to the United States, Florida, all of that, that the healthcare is pretty comparable to what we get here in the States. And again, if you're already insured, you can use those private insurances in Panama City. So I looked that up as well, all that is transferable to Panama City. They have an exchange rate that because they use US dollars in Panama City. So you don't have to worry about that. It's not the cheapest when it comes to goods and services because of where it's geographically located and how things have to go in and out. But you can live very comfortably in Panama City for $2,000 a month, meaning the rent. And when I say living, what in my research, I only did the needs. Okay, so your rent or mortgage, but mostly rent, because most of the people rent there, because purchasing in any of the expat cities that I looked at is difficult if you are coming in. So they have kind of zoning things. You have to live there a certain period of time. Certain things have to happen in order for you to purchase property in many of these locations, but you can. It's not impossible. But if you live in Panama City, the cost of living is a little bit higher because it's a city and it's a metropolis. It's people come and go. It's a beautiful place. $2,000 a month. So that's for housing, food, electricity, water, your basic needs. Okay. If you move on the outskirts of Panama City in some of the smaller little boroughs, a 3-bedroom house, you can rent a 3-bedroom house for $800 a month. So that is really wonderful. People, there's a great community there of Americans and very diverse. There's people from all over the diaspora that have moved to Panama City. And so Panama City, if you're thinking about being an expat, that's one place to do research. One thing one of the highlights that I liked about Panama City is that you get the sunrise and the sunset all at the same time because of where it's located near the equator. So it's just so cool. But everything that you do, if you make a decision to move anywhere as an expat, you must do your homework. And then you have to go and visit that location prior to the move to see how much it's going to cost you to move your items, because that's the other thing. They said shipping. Sometimes you're better off just getting rid of everything except for the stuff that you really want to live with, and then buying where you are, because sometimes the shipping is very expensive. And then there's these port things. And so you're going to have to do your homework if you decide that becoming an expat is what you want to do. Then Mexico was like the second, and it's the most popular expat place. There's 1 million people, older adults living from the US in Mexico, parts of Mexico. It's because, one, the distance to the US, 2 hours by plane, same thing with Panama City. That's the one thing I noticed. The places where the expat folks are moving from the US and Canada, it's because the distance to get back to the US is no more than like going from New York to Los Angeles. So no more than like 6 hours. And I found that to be very interesting. And it's because to stay connected with family and friends, and vice versa, for family and friends to come visit. So Mexico was the most popular. It was most popular because of it borders the states in the United States, Texas and California, whatever, where people can get back to the US quickly. The cost of living was way lower than even Panama City. A two-bedroom apartment is $750 a month. If you buy a property, it could be higher than that. And then you will add like a $200 property tax to that. So for instance, I found a 2-bedroom, beautiful villa near the water, and it was a little more. It was about $900 a month. You would add, if you purchased it, to rent it, it was $900 a month. If you purchased it, it would be $200 more for the property tax on an ongoing, whatever the mortgage would be. They had incredible apartments, 1- and 2-bedroom apartments starting at $300 a month. And I thought that was amazing. And again, most of the expats have a little bit of retirement. They have their Social Security that they're collecting. And so, you know, they've retired in a time where we still have Social Security. And then many of them are consultants or they've become artisans. So whatever hobby they always wanted to explore prior to retiring, they've turned those things into businesses or coffee shops. And you will find in many of the communities where an expat or expat community is, you'll see more things, more American type businesses there because they bring those kind of things with them. So again, becoming an expat means really it's a lifestyle change, and you really must research it before you make that change. Okay, so more notes. The next place was Portugal. I was amazed by this because this is a place I've always wanted to go. And why Portugal came up is that it was the 3rd safest country. It is the 3rd safest country in the world, regardless of some of the things that the little girl I know that got kidnapped there and all of that, regardless of all of that, across the board, Portugal is the 3rd safest country in the world. And it has great diversity. So you have people from all over. As we know, Portugal is a port country. And so they've had people going through forever, and so, Lesbon is one of those places where people really live. And you will find that for $1,000 a month, you can really live well in Portugal. Now, there's an exchange rate there. The internet in all of these places, internet is great. There's no problem. Cell phone, great. So that's why they came up as places where expats are moving. The other in Portugal that was really something that I loved is that you can buy property there. So you can buy property, and they said, a beautiful home, you can buy a beautiful home between $69,000 to $120,000 American dollars. So that's not bad at all. And when they say home, they're talking property, these little beautiful little communities. So again, you have to figure out whether that will work for you. Medical, great in Portugal, no problem there. And how you have access to good medical care. Costa Rica was the other place. And I learned in my research that Costa Rica is not an island. Okay, I didn't know that. I always tell you my geography is always my Achilles heel. That's why I have a globe. I bought a globe so that I can look at it and figure out where things are. But Costa Rica is not an island, and it's a 3-hour flight. So that's a 3-hour flight to the U.S. To buy a home in Costa Rica, it's about $119,000 to buy a home there, about $500 to rent. You have a 3-bedroom. Private insurance is 1/3 of what we pay here in the States. They have doctors. There's a lot of peace and safety there. Public transportation is top rated. So there you don't have to buy a car. There's walking. All of these communities are walking communities. You'll find that expats no longer own cars in these communities, that they're walking communities. And one of the things that also came up, health status gets better for a lot of folks, and their quality of life gets better. Again, I'm not forcing anybody out of the United States at all. I may not leave the United States, but I have to explore all of the options that are available to me, because I also don't want to feel like I am you know, all the years that I've worked, everything that I've built up in my life, and I want to have a long life, I need to have enough funds to live that long life. So that's why I started investigating this expat phenomenon, and it's happening all over. People are moving just because of that reason, financially, health reasons, you know, because all of these places are warm. That's the other thing I figured out. They're all warm. You know, and we've saturated Florida, so we're just moving, and Florida is very expensive. So people are moving to these other places. The average temperature in all of these places was like 70 degrees with a high of 85. And then they had some rainy seasons where things were really muggy, but for the most part, the weather was really great. So arthritis and, pardon me, arthritis and things like that. The last one was Ghana. Oh, pardon me. Let me. Oh, thank you. My apologies. This coughing is from all this stuff. But in Ghana was another place. So the Ghana is in Africa. And so we were looking at Ghana, very slow pace. So they said, if you are into, you know, having an active lifestyle and you're always on the go, no, that's not going to happen unless you do it on your own, because things are very slow. So like if you need to get a license, or if you need to get a permit for something, you know, we are hurry up, make it happen in the States. That's not going to happen if you go to Ghana, and they don't care that you are like anxious to get it done. They move with a rhythm that is slower, and they will not pay attention to you. And if you get too annoying, you will pay more for things, because the assumption that Americans are coming with a lot of US capital. And so, you know, Ghana is one of those places you got to be a little careful. Not because of it being in Africa or anything like that. It's just that, again, they are, their culture moves a little bit differently. And when we go with our American sensibilities, then we create division instead of camaraderie and partnership. And so Ghana, they warn, everything takes like 80 to 90 days, you know, for anything to get done. And that's good. So you really want to go visit all these places. You want to figure out if these are the places that you want to live. You want to start your plan way before you go. And if you're going to Ghana, way before you go. And what I found out is that the infrastructure there is really hard because of, you know, the politics. And so that's the reason that, you know, you'll pay for things. If you can pay $5 more or $10 more, you'll get something quicker. So, you know, I'm going to call it bartering, but there is another word for that. And the one thing about Ghana, people loved it or hated it. They loved it when they visited, and then once they moved there, they hated it and they wanted to get the heck out of Dodge. Or there were people who are moved there and are very happy. I'm following a family on YouTube that has moved. A family of 5 have moved there, and they're thriving very well. But they went and did research, and they started a business there, and they figured out a community prior to. They took their children there so they could get you know, acclimated to everything. So being an expat means a lot of work before you become an expat in that category. Also, there are other places that I looked up, and so I'll just name them. These were places that you could retire 100% on $1,000 a month and escape the cold. And for this, the budget was the largest concern. So all the 5 that I listed prior, English is not a problem in any of those places. So if you do not speak the language, most people speak English there. Some of these that are the ones that you can retire for $1,000 a month or less, you may not. you may have to learn the language a little bit. And it may be a little uncomfortable in the beginning, but I will share these places with you just so that you know, as if you're considering. So Ecuador was one place. Nicaragua was another. Thailand had the lowest cost of living for housing and healthcare of all of the expat places. Thailand, there's a lot of people moving there, retirees. Vietnam, and it is a wonderful place. Canadians are moving to Vietnam, especially the south central part of where there's a bay and they can go hiking and snorkeling. A lot of people from France are moving there, and the cost of living there is about $400 American dollars a month. So people are going there with money and building homes and living an incredible lifestyle. Vietnam. Belize is about 10 miles from Mexico, and they do speak English there. And for that's $400 a month for a 2-bedroom house. Again, not an apartment, a house. And then Santa Fe, Panama was the highest. Again, Panama City, Panama, that whole area will be a little bit more, but they have the largest growing expat community happening right now. So it's there if people are thinking about it, and it's $1,000 a month. They're right on that, you know. And again, how you do it will depend on how much money you have, how close you need to be to family, what your healthcare status is. But everything that I read said, visit the place that you're thinking about and visit it for a minute, not just a week when you go on vacation and you feel good because you finally get relaxed and you do things. If you can stay for 2 weeks to a month, they said, before you move or before you make plans to move. Oh, I'm so sorry. It would be excuse me again. That would be the best thing to do, is to go and spend that 30 days, you know, and to really feel the community out, see what the outskirts are like, see how friendly the spot you think you're moving into, get to know that spot, get to know the people, so that you don't feel like a stranger or a tourist when you move to that area. So that's been my pondering, how to become an expat, the COVID variant and why the variant is so dangerous and what we need to do to finally get to a place where we can stabilize. And I'm here to tell you, everything that I've read and all the folks that I'm listening to, we need to do something about this COVID situation. And so a part of that, my last pondering for today, and you know I always have to come to you with something a little bit more lofty. We are in a time where the world is in change. It's in flux. Everything is happening. You know, we've got the fires. We've got the water, the hurricanes, and then COVID is looming over our heads and been looming over our heads now. We're going into 2 years. We've got Black Lives Matter and Asian hate and all of that still happening. That struggle is still happening, dismantling racism. You know, I keep it up in my office because racism is not just a black and white thing. It's any minority or majority that oppresses one or the other. So we still have all this going on. We have an economy that is doing pretty well, but it's doing pretty well because we've adjusted it to accommodate the drama of what we're living through. We have people that are living through PTSD because they were already dealing with depression and anxiety and loss and pain and grief. I'm one of them. Getting by, but still there. We have people who are struggling with life circumstances where they don't see a way out. All of this now is happening at the same time and creating a roar, a negative roar in our world that is causing us to speak to each other with division of heart, division of spirit. And so my last pondering is, over this Labor Day weekend, let's figure out who we are personally and what we want the trajectory of our soul to be as we go out into the world. We are all caught up in our intelligence and how many degrees we have. And, you know, I've had experience doing this and that or the other. But I'm here to tell you, I have never had the experience of living through a pandemic during Black Lives Matter, Asian hate, with a sciatic, with my children not living in the home, with loss of my brother. I've never had that experience before. So every day is a new day. And you have to come into it with a new heart every day. So as you live out this Labor Day weekend, know that Labor Day was started so that people could get rest, to honor those individuals that were working so hard to keep America running and functioning. Remember those essential workers that have worked this whole time to keep us safe, and now we're asking them to dig deeper down because we're refusing to wear a mask. And again, I'm not even going to the vaccine anymore. We're refusing to wear masks. So I don't know, when we say we want a better world and we're all in this together, what that really means anymore. So I continue to ponder that, because I thought when we said that, that meant we would do the best that we could to honor the fact that we are on this beautiful blue globe together, and that it is a gift that we're on this beautiful blue globe together. And how do we continue to do this? And how do we continue to protect the world for the generations to come? And how do we clean up our mess, whether it's on the earth or inside of ourselves? So have a good Labor Day weekend. Get some rest if you haven't gotten any this week, because I know I've had a hard week. But also, be careful. Wear your mask. I think the mask is great now because, boy, the air is really bad. If you're an asthmatic, I hear you, because I'm suffering, as you can see. But let's do this. Let's do this. Wear your mask, folks. And you know what? Carry an extra mask. That's what I have now in my glove compartment. If you get out of your car without a mask and I see you, my sister Lynn gave me some masks that were in plastic containers. You will come back to your car and find a blue mask in a plastic container on your windshield, and a gift from Micheal Pope. So have a good weekend. Have a great Labor Day. Thank you, essential workers, whoever you are, wherever you are in this world, for the sacrifice that you have made to keep us all safe. Thank you for coming to Life is a Sacred Journey. Thank you for being a part of our virtual neighborhood. Be good to yourself. Hug a tree, hug a dog, hug yourself. Peace out.